Welcome in to the LFC transfer room ahead of today's match against Aston Villa. It's myself, Jack, and Matty here today to talk about the match. It's a few minutes before the team news is set to be released, 2 p.m. UK here, almost 9 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. But myself and Matty going at it, just the two of us. How are you feeling ahead of about an hour away from kickoff?
I'm quietly confident, to be honest, because they haven't got Jack Grealish. I think he's dangerous, so having him not in the team is good, considering we're right at the back. So I'm quite confident that I do feel as though we have to win it, because after our performance on Tuesday, Champions League is going to be hard.
I'm glad to see that, Chedu, that got us some support from the gym, not being able to be with us today, but he'll be here for the post-match, I believe, is what he said. He'll be for the post-match. But let us know your thoughts on how you're feeling ahead of the match. About an hour away from kickoff, as I mentioned. Waiting for team news to drop. Before it does drop, Matty, are there any players you're expecting to see, you want to see before it's official?
I think we'll see Curtis Jones today. Do think he'll probably rotate with Madrid in mind. It's a bit of a tough fixture wedged in between them, but do think he'll rotate, but you've got to be in midfield, because that's where you've got quite a few options. So maybe Fabinho, Thiago Jones in midfield. Maybe mix it up a little bit, give Gini a rest. Maybe even see Tsimikas play with Robbo getting a bit of a rest. Could be something like that. I don't think he'll change it too drastically, because, like I said, I do think we need to get top four.
Yeah, I wonder if he's watching. Probably not watching this Man City match, but obviously having a tough time immediately. Having a lot of rotation. I mean, like KDB, I don't know, Foden was, Diaz was on the bench, so a lot of rotation for them. And they're currently losing to Leeds, but they're a man up, so I'd expect them to come back in that one at some point. But I mean, you mentioned Jack Grealish, a huge loss for Villa. I mean, their captain. We talked about it in the Ritter Dead. Go check it out on our YouTube channel. A short debate show that Matty was on. Very fun time recording that earlier this morning. Jack Grealish is a big loss, as is Henderson. Both captains for both clubs are out, but it's going to be an interesting one. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, score predictions, who you want to see, and then when the lineup's out in about, a minute from now, we'll be able to react to that immediately and give our thoughts on that. But I'm seeing a lineup that has Fabinho, Milner, Wijnaldum as the midfield trio. So I'm going to wait for the official one before we officially lose our minds. But I would be frustrated, I think, with that.
I think Milner will. I think Milner's meant to be playing on Bobby. Probably going back to his safe midfield. He has a trusted like midfield club. Obviously, Henderson's not there, but it's usually Henderson, Milner, and Gini. Or Fabinho, Henderson, and Gini. Sorry. Milner was like his trusted steed, weren't he, for years? So sometimes does turn back to that when things aren't going right. So I will see Milner play.
Yeah,
and that would mean Gini could maybe drop out, because Milner would take the armband then. So.
Yeah, that is a tough one. I remember we were talking about after the Madrid match about leadership and the differences in that. And I don't know. What are your thoughts on Milner? I can't quite remember how you said it immediately after the Madrid game on if you're pro Milner, anti Milner.
I like James Milner, to be honest with you. Like, sometimes we forget that we got him on a free. He's done his job at the club. He's won everything with us. I like that he came to Liverpool because he thought it was his best chance to win the Champions League, and then done it.
He was right, yeah.
And you can't really fault him, can you? He's been a good servant to the club. Whether he retires here or whether he moves on and plays a few more years, he's a phenomenal athlete. But I do like him. I don't think he should start every week, but I like him when he does start.
So team news is out. And in the headline of their tweet, Curtis Jones misses out as a precaution due to a muscle injury. Just pure devastation. Pure devastation. But the lineup, I'll read it out. Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Phillips, Kabak, Robertson, Fabinho, Milner, Wijnaldum, and then Salah, Jota, Firmino. So Mane benched, Keita benched, and then the traditional back four. Thoughts on that?
I'm surprised Thiago starts on the bench again as well, but then obviously I suppose Madrid's on. So I can understand that. I'm in one way happy that Mane dropped out, I do think he needs some time away from the first team. His performance, his goal returning performances as of late haven't been phenomenal. Jota can play on the left. Bobby hasn't been in good form, but I suppose he's also got a point to prove. So it's genius. It's expected. I mean, I would have took the chance to probably give Robertson a rest, to be honest with you, because Tsimikas is a decent option. So it's just a bit of a mad one.
Yeah, sorry for being a bit silent there, but I wanted to put that lineup up. That's what we're looking at in terms of a projected lineup for Liverpool. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you on that. That I would have liked to see some other options there. I don't know. I think Robertson definitely is. And that man gets run into the ground. I mean, I think Tsimikas is definitely an interesting option there. But I do like that front three, actually. I think Mane does need the rest, like you mentioned. And I think after the shambolic passing display in that first half against Madrid, that having a guy like Firmino to link up play will be very nice because I think we'll probably have a good majority of the ball against Villa and having a guy who can really turn that into some serious chances, I think is an important thing. So I'll read out the Villa team as well. So there's Martinez, Cash, Etsukonsa, Tyrone Mings, Target, Douglas Luiz, Nakamba, Traore, McGinn, Trezeguet, and then Watkins as the 11th man there. So danger man immediately, I think, is Ollie Watkins. 11 goals in the Premier League this season. Trezeguet's been good. Traore's been good. McGinn has been very good. He's very good with Grealish, and when Barkley was playing well, he was even better. But I'm interested what formation that is. Blackhammer, I think we're in agreement with you that we would have liked to see him, but the issue was injury actually. Muscle injury. If according to the Liverpool Twitter, they said that when they announced the lineup that he's out with an injury. So I think he probably would have started this game if it wasn't for the injury, but
yeah, he's not even on the bench, so I do think he probably would have played. Ben Davies is even on the bench, so I do think Jones probably is injured.
Yeah. So thoughts on that? Are you optimistic, pessimistic, more so than you were about 5 minutes ago?
I'm optimistic, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think we've seen Salah, Jota, Firmino from free yet this year. So
yeah, I think we have.
See how it does. Midfield's a bit of a Brexit ball in midfield, like, but
yeah. Well, that was that the midfield that got us to a Champions League final, or was Fabinho in there? I'm forgetting what it was. I remember the common saying is whenever people criticize Wijnaldum or Milner, or that midfieldless Brexit midfield is, well, hey, they got us to a Champions League final, won us a Champions League.
I think it was Henderson.
Yeah, I know Henderson was in there somewhere.
Henderson, Milner, Fabinho wearing it mainly.
Something like that. Maybe Wijnaldum for Milner, but I don't know. I think it's an interesting lineup. It's going to rely a lot on Villa opening up a little bit and Firmino being able to play in a lot more space. I do like Jota starting. It's going to be important. Another good suggestion from Blackhammer, Ox. We talked a lot about him. I'm not Ox's biggest fan, but I think this would have been a great game for him. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I like the Ox. I think his injuries have dampened what could have been maybe, but I think he needs game time. And games like this are probably the perfect chance to give him a go. I mean, I know we need to get top four, but the Ox has played in big games. You think it's like the City game when he scored that screamer in the Champions League. That was a big game. So he knows how to win. So that's no problem. So would have been decent to play him, but could be a good option off the bench, to be honest with you. I think it's more defensively that we were a bit weak at the minute in recent weeks.
So Davies, Ben Davies, is he going to make an appearance for us?
I just don't think he's ready yet. I mean, you think about Robertson when he came. Didn't see him for like 6 months nearly, probably a bit longer to be honest. And how good he is. I mean, I'm not saying Ben Davies is going to be world class, but just don't think he's ready for the system yet.
I know you've said before that you think that he's just going to get sold for £10 million to Celtic, which I mean, be a great piece of business, but I mean, I don't know. Just would suck to never see him step out on the field and play. Never see him prove it on the field.
I don't think Klopp expected Nat Phillips and Kabak to perform such a great partnership, to be honest with you. So Davies probably was an option, but who'd you take out of them two? Could they both be performing?
Yeah. I think that's the big question Klopp's asking is he does have he trusts people. You mentioned it with this midfield is that he trusts them to not, screw up massively. So it's like, I don't know. I would like to see him at least make one appearance, show us what he can do. And he'll always be a legend for being that first video on the YouTube channel. But it's just a bit frustrating. I in terms of how we compare to Villa, I'm not sure how they're gonna line up. In comparison to us, the way I'm seeing it lined up here is a 4-2-3-1 with Nakamba and Luis as the pivot, begin in the middle as a 10. I don't know. I think that potentially could be interesting. And also interesting is it's Sadio Mane's 29th birthday and he got dropped. Feel a bit bad for him.
Hopefully after that the afternoon after with on his birthday, which is probably better. But I don't know. I'm out of this line. I'm glad to see Barkley not playing. To be honest with you,
Oh my God, I have nightmares from that 7-2 when he was playing.
Yeah,
though.
Decent at Villa, and I just don't like him. I just don't like him. But he always seems to turn up against us as well, doesn't he? So. They've got a good team. They are missing Grealish, but they've got a good team. Like Nakamba's decent, McGinn's decent, Trezeguet's decent, Watkins is decent. So it's not going to be a plain sailing afternoon, but
it probably won't be. But joining us, making it a plain sailing afternoon, the boy Steve. I'm gonna add him into the stream. Steve, how are you feeling?
Not too bad.
Now this lineup scrolling on the bottom. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to check it out. Allison, Alexander-Arnold, Phillips, Kabak, Robertson, Fabinho, Milner, Wijnaldum, Salah, Jota, and Firmino. Your immediate thoughts as you join us as a third man of the stream.
Mane's been dropped. That's a bit of a shock, isn't it? Well, it's not a bit of a shock in the grand scheme of things because he's been poor all season. But not all season, but recently. But I think I read an article from Neil Jones. He said the best thing to do is just keep him in the team. That's probably what he should really do. But I think Aston Villa and Real Madrid are two completely different prospects, really. And it's probably good to have him to come off the bench if needs be, with the bigger picture in mind for Wednesday against Real Madrid.
Robertson is the overwhelming person talked about not being rested for Tsimikas or even Milner at left back. Would you have rested him for this one ahead of Madrid second leg?
But probably not, no, because if you watch Aston Villa last week against Fulham, even though Fulham are different to us, they tore apart that far left side. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at and treated with respect to some degree. Because the Trezeguet is obviously the opposite side, but wingers switch wings, don't they? So I think it's good to have him in, but then he needs to be rested sometime. And then it's like we said in the last pod, is who's gonna have the chance to come in? Because we can't really have any room to make changes or give people an opportunity, especially with so much to play for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I James Redmond back again. I think Chris has enjoyed his cricket. I don't want to speak for him, so hopefully we'll get his opinion when he's more available, unless you know Blackhammer. But no, Grealish is obviously a huge positive because Matty, you mentioned it in the Red or Dead earlier today. 2 goals, 3 assists last time they played. Is there a sense of a need for revenge as after that 7-goal drubbing? Right, with 7 goals total scored. Is there a desire, do you think, for revenge either in Liverpool players? Is that last result in their minds at all as we head into today's match at Anfield?
I hope not. I think when Liverpool go into games with revenge, they play worse. Look at Real Madrid. So if you just go in with a fresh mind, to be honest with you, because you're going with revenge, it just doesn't work. You just don't want to be too cautious, but then you don't want to be too attacking either.
Yeah, nothing aged worse than our pre-match for the Real Madrid match. We were saying, all right, it's time for Salah to show up, bang a few past them. We're not going to concede. Kabak, Phillips. So I don't know. I really just don't know what to expect because I remember we had that great debate after the Madrid match about do you expect a loss for Liverpool, or do you never think that they're ever going to lose? And I'm torn between the perspectives of Ben and Matty, because Ben isn't here to argue his perspective with us today. But I know, Matty, you have no concerns about Villa.
No, we'll beat them. It's go into every game thinking you'll win. That's, I don't know. It's always expect the best with Liverpool. In recent years, we went 2 seasons and lost about 3 games. You just never expect us to get beat anymore. I know this season's been different, but the mentality hasn't changed for me personally. I still think we'll win every game.
Steve, how confident are you ahead of today's game?
I wouldn't say not confident, but I wouldn't say confident either. Because I was thinking this morning. Last season we were scraping 1-0s and we played not well. We didn't play exactly brilliant at times, but then this season we're playing all right, and then we're getting beat 1-0. So it's not the confidence of being seeped out. It's just you can't really go into every game now expecting us to, because you don't know what Liverpool team's going to show up. I don't want to compare it to what we've watched in the past with Rodgers and Hodgson, worst case scenario, but you don't know which Liverpool is going to turn up these days. I suppose with the current climate of football, you don't know who will turn up because there's no atmosphere or fans to play or to vibe off or whatever you want to say. Yeah. So I don't know. You obviously hope for the best, but with Liverpool, you obviously, I put it in my verdict on Wednesday. You come in on a high, and then Liverpool, short and sweet, knock you down a peg or two.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've had back-to-back, good performances, because, we had the point where it was beat West Ham, and then you lost 3 in a row, beat Leipzig, oh, we're back, lose to Everton, beat Sheffield United, all right, we're back, lose to Chelsea. So I don't know. We had been on a slight bit of form with the 2 wins in the Prem, but I really just have no idea what to expect. And how important is top 4? Because I know, Matty, I might ask you to be realistic and almost a bit pessimistic. I was going to be bold, but Champions League qualification, is this a must-win for Liverpool to get in the top 4?
Yeah, I think every game's a must-win now, because ultimately we need Chelsea and Aston and West Ham to slip up for us to get top 4. West Ham, I've got a hard run in, but you'd say ours is easy, but we've fell at the easier teams this year. But, West Ham and Chelsea have still got to play each other, which is a big plus. We've just got to keep winning games, and hopefully we do get top 4. But West Ham, I've got a hardish run in. They still got to play Leicester and Everton and West Brom and stuff at like the dying ends of the season, when West Brom could maybe be fighting to stay up.
Good to see you, Bruno. Glad to have you joining us here today. I agree with you. I've been wondering. So, in terms of the fans for next season, what's the status for that in the UK about for the end of this season? Fans being there at the FA Cup. I saw stuff about that last match week, and then next season. Is it potential for a large capacity next season?
I think so. Yeah, I think
it's a long way off, but I think there should be like a percentage of the capacity. It won't be full, but it'll be not empty at the same time, I don't think. But
last game of the season, we've definitely got some in, haven't we? I think it's 50%, so that'll be 20-odd thousand.
Yeah, that'd be a big deal. Be a huge deal. That's gonna be what, against Palace on the 23rd.
Yeah. I think by the summer, by next season, I think fans will be back in, because things are back on in the city. Not social distancing and all that. If that can happen, surely people can go to sit in the grounds again.
Yeah. Can only hope, because this team benefits as much as any.
Social distancing. Oh shit.
I'm gonna mute you for a second, Steve, or unless you got it sorted.
Yeah, sorted.
All right. I heard myself for a second, and then I was like, oh my god, that's one ugly American. Have
you seen Chelsea's running though? To be fair, they've still got to play. They've got an FA Cup semi-final against City. So I don't know if they still got to play Porto, and then they've got to play West Ham away. They've got to play City away. They've got to play Arsenal at Chelsea at home, and Villa away.
You see those last 4 matches for them? It's City away, Arsenal at home, Leicester at home, Villa away. That's the last 4 running in the Prem.
That's a chance of getting top 4, but we've just got to win.
Exactly. Right now, as things currently stand, we're 7th, yes, but we're 3 points off of 4th. So it's a case of it's not at all out of the picture. Which in this season and how bad we've been is absolutely crazy. Because when was our last win at Anfield in the Prem?
December 16th. Sad.
Has it just been defeats since then? Just 6 straight?
There's a few draws. The Man United draw.
Okay, there's many draws. That's true.
When we play Chelsea, we could potentially go 4th till 5:30 when Chelsea play. So
That's true. Yeah, our goal difference is pretty good, but yeah, it'd be a really the classic FM phrase. It'd be a statement of our intent to go out the table like that. But
on Chelsea as well, though, don't have to go into Palace away there. And if we win, we go into 4th. That puts pressure on them. Slipped up against West Brom. Palace are a better team than West Brom, so
Palace could.
What do you think of the 2 defensive midfielders for Aston Villa? Because when we played them in October, they sort of ran the game, Nakamba and Luis. Or Luis definitely did, because he was a headache to play against.
I've liked Nicholas Luis for a while. I don't know much about Nakamba, but I just know that without Grealish and without Barkley, obviously, I think he came off injured in that game, did he not? But he wasn't as important in that game. So I think it will be interesting how they play without it. But it's just frustrating to me that, I mean, they're professional footballers. They're good players, Nakamba and Luis are. But the fact that we're kind of worried about them and that they ran the game against us is just deeply frustrating.
I just looked at the formation and they were 4-3-3 and they're 4-3 or 4-2-3-1 today. So I think they're always setting up just to not lose, I think. Because if they've got a game in hand on us, I think if they get a draw, they can go above us.
Yeah. It just depends on Martinez in as well, doesn't it? If Femi Martinez is on it, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like the Lions, he's a keeper, but like Steve said, I think they'll play for the draw. Safe result for them as well.
Yeah, Steve, I'll flip this question to you as well. I keep referencing this Red or Dead that Matty, Richie, and I recorded earlier. But I asked the question, no keeper in the Premier League has overperformed the amount of goals they're expected to concede than Emiliano Martinez. Would we have been better off with him in the sticks rather than Alisson, considering the mistakes he's made this season?
Maybe, yeah, but then every keeper's prone to mistakes, aren't he? So especially with recent weeks, you've seen him. He's been a bit, he's a bit too like rushed off his line, isn't he? At times, especially for the Tottenham goal, he was in no man's land at times. But that's with every keeper. So you don't know. Obviously, most keepers are better than Adrian these days, and for the price that Aston Villa got Martinez for, you probably would snap your hand off at him. But that's just the benefit of hindsight, really. You could just say, oh, yeah, we could have had someone else in goal. Could have Pickford in goal if Alisson was injured, but you obviously wouldn't want that, would you?
I think with Tottenham, he wanted to play first team, didn't he? So
yeah.
if he wouldn't have come to us anyway, which is... But then if he would have came, that mean Alisson wouldn't have been playing as much, and Alisson for me is the best goalkeeper in the world.
That's a tough question. Who's worse, Adrian or Karius? Is that even possible to pick one?
The worst in their own right, aren't they?
I hate Karius. I hate him. Don't want to see him ever.
Here's the thing, though, is before that Champions League final, he was one of the better goals in the league, or better goalkeepers in the league.
Well, I think you're forgetting there was a game against Bournemouth. I think we were winning 3-1, and he had a few square under him, and we ended up getting beat 4-3, didn't we? And you know that because it was on Premier League greatest matches or something, and then it was Steve Cook or something, right one in top corner.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He definitely wasn't great. I think
he wasn't great.
He was the first choice keeper for a little while in comparison to Adrian, who was just, I don't know. He's always been a backup, and he's played like a backup far too often for my liking. But good to see you, Lee. 2-0 is his prediction. We'll give you our predictions in just a moment here. How big a difference is it that there's no Adrian tax for this match compared to that there was in the last one? I mean, it's kind of a dumb question, isn't it? Because it's like you're saying like, oh, well, your first choice versus your second choice keeper. But how big a difference is it that we actually have got a goalkeeper with 2 functioning hands and a functioning frontal lobe in net?
It doesn't matter, does it? Because you see what happened with Real Madrid. I think Alisson in goal, yeah, it's a bit more stability, but then the high line's going to be highlighted quite a bit today, especially with Watkins. And if they're playing for the draw, then we're just going to be going hell for leather, aren't we? So they'll be pegged back, and then a ball over the top. We're going to be chasing backs against the wall and struggling at times. So if they kind of emulate what Real Madrid done, but slightly more defensively, then I think we might be in a bit of trouble. So I don't know. It won't be a 7-2, or if it is, then I'll probably shave my head tonight. You can hold me to that.
Make a commitment between us that if it's 7-2 again, we all shave our heads and then come back on for the post.
Yeah,
I'm not. I've already done mine twice this lockdown. It's not coming off again. I'm this the barbers now. Jack, they're open next week, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I have no excuse. In the States, the barbers are open, but I've not gotten this mop cleaned up and far too long.
It's the dream, and the barbers are open.
I had to say about 5-6 years ago when Justin Bieber was hitting up the charts. That was my vibe back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's not the greatest flow of my life, but I have to hit it up. So another quick question from Blackhammer. Adrian or Kelleher as your backup keeper. Is Kelleher been injured or what's been the issue with him?
Yeah, he got a muscle problem, I think, with his stomach. Okay. He sat out of Republic of Ireland international duty. And he probably could have done with them because he got beat to, who was it, Luxembourg.
Yeah. I think that if he's fit, is he ahead of Adrian?
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
I think number 2 next season. I think maybe Kelleher's muscle problem might be a bit worse than first feared because with Adrian coming out saying that they're discussing a new deal. If they're discussing a new deal, he must be getting told he's number 3 because I think Kelleher is firmly number 2 when he's fit.
Yeah, I loved Adrian after the Super Cup, but he just should never play for us again at that point. that was when his stock peaked.
Ended on a high, yeah.
I was so nervous going into that Super Cup. Oh.
And that was just a better time in life. You know, there wasn't a pandemic. Every match Liverpool just won, basically. It wasn't even like Matty, not calling you deluded, but it wasn't where like, yeah, I believe in Liverpool, but it was just like they just did. Another question.
For that Super Cup, there was like the boss night for that in Liverpool. They had the game on, and it was carnage after it because I think none of us expected us to win with Adrian. So when we did, it was boss. One of the best nights out ever, to be honest.
So Kane, the news came out this morning that he wants to leave Tottenham if they win Champions League. Assuming we do,
no,
Kane to Liverpool.
No.
I'd love him, mate.
I don't like him. I'm
2-1 Leeds.
Is it really 2-1?
Yeah, last minute.
I don't want to celebrate City losing because we're not anywhere close to them, but it does put a smile on my face if that's the case.
Should I say not Thierry Henry thing where he's got to go?
No, I think Kane is just like, in my eyes, he's just a blend of Firmino and Jota. Clinical finisher, can link up the play beautifully, and can create chances.
I just don't like him. I don't. I'm just firmly in the camp for not liking him. I don't know why.
Imagine Kane with
popular opinion, like, but I just hate him. I hate how much. The fact that like Mane and Salah and that get called divers, and then Kane does a lot worse, and he's clever and stuff. I just don't like. I wouldn't want that association with us. Be arsed with it.
Make the trifecta though. Imagine just the tears that would exist if it was Mane, Kane, and Salah, and
just get Kane though. You could probably go and get Haaland or Mbappe for just a little bit more.
To be fair, at this rate, I'll take any number 9.
Yeah. I think, but don't you think Kane's about 120 mil if they sell him? Easy.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
30 million more. You're getting Haaland.
Yeah.
Who's going to get more prolific. I think you'd rather have Haaland than Kane, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I think it's not such an easy. I mean, I think if it's financially, I don't know though. It's such a tough one. Kane or Haaland, Steve, for you?
Haaland probably. He's got a lot more in the locker, Haaland, but then Kane's he's a recognised striker and he is Premier League proven. But depends what you want because he's touching 28 now. Kane, and then Haaland's got his about 10 years at a club in him. If not, maybe if he wants to prolong, maybe stepping stone and kind of it. But I'll take either, but I think Haaland's probably the better.
Yeah.
All aboard it. We can get Suarez for free this summer. Defo.
Steve, where are you on the Suarez train?
Get him. Any number 9, I'll have him. But then it's like it's just you need that tenacity back in the team. Obviously, he had his very like major downfalls, Suarez. But then he was the player that it's like Diego Costa. You'd hate him to come against him. Sorry, Rafinha's been wiped out there. Yeah,
I mean Suarez. He's one of my favorite Liverpool players of all time, and I think that he could actually do a great job. I think that this summer is going to be a very interesting one for us because I think there's big contrast in how much we need and how much we want. Matty, you weren't on the stream yesterday, were you? For Jen? Yeah, we kind of floated our desired windows, and I think I could know if he would have taken a distaste or a love for it. Seen a bit of love for Leeds as well in the comments. How do we feel actually about that? Them getting the win here. Do we care? Do we not care? Like, do we acknowledge City as our rivals?
I think you got to put it on the other side. Now we play Leeds in 2 games time, and they've just beat the Premier League champions elect. So we need to be careful of them, especially they're at home as well, aren't they? So
yeah,
I like Leeds. I do like them. I think they remind me very much of Liverpool when Klopp first took over, where they're good on the attack but they can't defend. So he fixed that defence. They had a new player playing today. He struggled with injuries or something. Lorente, a Spanish defender, he looked decent to be fair. But I like Bielsa. I liked his morals and stuff. Like, did you see that he had the Leeds players go and pick up litter for 3 hours? Because that's on average how many hours someone needs to work to buy a ticket for the match and stuff. Like, I like him for stuff like that. I think he's humble.
Yeah, he is I do like him, and I think it is interesting because like the last few years have made me programmed to love when City drop points, but I mean we can't even catch them mathematically at this point. And I mean, it actually would have served us better for City to stomp them. Unfortunate as that is to say, because this is going to be their most recent match before we play them next. So
yeah,
bit of a bounce in form for them.
Smart from Pep. I think he knows the league's done. So
well, it looks like Rafinha's injured here. Sorry, Matty. It looks like Rafinha's injured.
Actually injured, or is it just kind of like a time wasting thing?
Now we got clattered by Fernandinho, probably a dead leg.
Put thoughts on him as well. I did a video on him a few weeks back. I think he's a really good player. Be quite pricey as a backup for the front three, but kind of a Jota-like player, similar age bracket, similar experience.
Rafinha.
Yeah, thoughts on him?
He's been decent in his first year in the Prem, but Leeds could then come and say, well, yeah, he's been decent for us. We want 60 mil. We'll just spend 60 million on him. Probably no. I think you can get better for that amount of money. So if you could get him for 25, 30 mil, then he's a good option. But the money that Leeds will probably demand after his good season in the Prem. How many times have we seen it? Someone's had one good season in the Prem, then fizzled out.
This has been a nice, just relaxed pre-match. I don't know why. It feels a bit like we're not getting too invested almost, where we're not like against Madrid, we were hurt after the match because we had talked so much crap. This has been relaxing. City did just get FM'd. Let's have a bit of a little bit more talk on the match today before we wrap up, about half an hour away from kickoff at Anfield. Let's do score predictions and projected man of the matches. Matty, I'll start with you. And let us know in the comments who you think the best player is going to be for either side and your score prediction for today. Matty, score, man of the match.
I reckon 3-1 to Liverpool. I reckon Jota, Firmino, and Salah are all going to bag one.
I would love that. Steve? Oh, and your man of the match. Sorry, Matty.
Man of the match. Who's playing the midfield again?
Ronaldo, Milner, Fabinho.
Fabinho. I think he'll have a big game after a poor performance against Madrid.
Steve?
I think it's going to be close. I'm going to sit on the fence for it and go 1-0 or 2-1 because you never know with Liverpool, do you? If you score 1 or 2, probably concede 1. But I think it'll be a close game. Hopefully we don't take us like we did against Arsenal to the second half and not take any of our chances, or like Sheffield United. Hopefully we start off with a bit of emphasis and a bit of impetus to try and get the 3 points bagged up early, so we can just sort of rest up, but like sit back and let the game play out. Probably be Salah man of the match, won't it?
I can back that. So you said 2-1 or 1-0, Steve?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to say 3-2. I think we're going to be a bit open at the back. It's going to be a bit of a thriller. We're going to come out on top. Just barely edge it.
Are we usually good on National Day? It's Grand National today, isn't it? England Liverpool usually play decent when it's the National.
I think last season we played City on National Day. Or we were meant to play City.
Yeah, I just always remember National Day always being a decent day, so I can't remember Liverpool ruining my mood. So.
We'll wrap up the stream here. It's been a great 35 minutes. We'll be back for the post-match. Steve, will you be here with us?
Should be, yeah.
All right. Well, it'll be myself, Matty, Steve, potentially Chedu. We'll have some people around. We'll talk about it, either sadness or in victory. We'll figure it out. But anyways, gentlemen, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for interacting with us in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Check out our content. Sports, LFCTransform.com, Sports Illustrated, SI.com, all the good stuff. But anyways, for myself, Jack, Matty, and Steve, this has been the LFC Transfer Room. Have a good rest of your day until